welcome back to Run the Terra, episode 26.
Yes.
We had a slight little error last week. Timo came in on our back lines and stole all of the first 15 minutes of our voice comms. So that episode's a little awkward. But just know that we did a lot of speculation on the new champions and what they'd be doing. And since you guys don't know what we said, we will just go ahead and attest that any card that comes out, we in fact called it. We'll be doing more speculation today in that manner. Also doing the meta pulse as usual, going over the patch notes. Huge card changes in the patch notes that we definitely need to get into. But for now, I'm Grandmaster Dan.
I'm Adam Edelman Munoz.
And I'm Stan Jirzewski.
And yeah, Stan, let's do that meta pulse right now, dude. What's going on, man? Pretty sure it's not too different.
Yeah.
From what I've been playing.
It is, exactly the same as it was last week, which is slightly different than it was the week before, but only slightly. kind of our top contenders are kind of your Ashe, Sejuani.
See the new meta, same as the old meta. You know, it's a little the Who joke there. For
yep,
you,
that
for
was.
You boomers out there, listen to the.
Oh boy. So Ashe Sejuani is kind of our top contender in the mid-range slot. Ezreal TF doing some real strong combo plays. Your kind of aggro lists right now where your tempo endures, your bilge water burn is kind of the one of the top aggro decks along with Misfortune aggro. Sejuani coming up again, being kind of the star of mid-range decks, so the kind of Yoink Sejuani builds or the tempo like Bilge Water Sejuani builds are kind of just like Sejuani is the mid-range card right now. It looks like she is just dominating the
Who
mid-range
could have
meta.
guessed, right?
Yeah,
like a good old-fashioned 5/6 overwhelm, basically challenger for the first round at least. For how much mana? 6 mana.
Yep.
With a fairly easy level of condition and significant upside, that's just a card. It's good. There's nothing bad about that.
A good card.
The card is good. You play the card.
Yep. So then got our kind of Kinko elusives, Fizz combo, discard swarm, all that kind of stuff still playing around. I guess one interesting thing is War Mother Control has crept its way back into being a tier 3 deck, as opposed to just being a trash play. So that's kind of the only real update I'm seeing to today's lists. Now, one thing that I have seen that's fun, and I don't know where this is going to end up falling on the tier list. Maybe it's just a gag. Maybe it'll never work. Actually, it does look like it's a deck that is terrible in the current meta, where I am seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 aggro decks being some of the more viable archetypes right now, and a lot of them being close to the kind of top of the meta charts. Swim did unveil a new infinite combo deck using Smooth Soloist of all cards.
We did it.
Wait, what? That card's not just trash?
Nope, not just trash. So the goal of the deck is you use Smooth Soloist, the new professor who draws you an additional copy of a card and makes them both fleeting, and
Zevi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chief Mechanist Zevi or something like that?
Yeah, it's Zevi. And then counterfeit copies and Veteran Investigator, because your Veteran Investigator is now free, and your counterfeit copies puts more Veteran Investigators in your deck and keeps your deck higher than your opponent's deck, and you just spend a turn playing infinite Veteran Investigators. This deck has been, I guess, something you can do for a while now. Pretty much once they updated the game to where you can overwrite your creatures, this deck became a possible combo.
An overnight sensation. Okay.
Yeah. So, but I guess, the puzzle pieces have finally all come together. Exodia is in our hands. We can do this. But yeah, you just play infinite Veteran Investigators until your opponent has less cards than you, and yay, you win. So yeah, Infinite Mill is finally a thing in in Legends of Runeterra, and that's something we've definitely all been waiting for a long time. Since Veteran Investigator has been spoiled, I know Dan's been chomping at the bit to use him as a...
I was gonna say, I think that, well, first off, Ezreal TF stayed at the top of the metagame for the past like month, so gonna go ahead and call back to like episode 18 and say called it. Second off, we've all been waiting for the sort of Hegelian sort of synthesis antithesis moment, or the thesis antithesis moment of taking the best card, Veteran Investigator, and the worst card, Smooth Soloist, and making something just quite beautiful. I think what it really was that while the Soloist was smooth, she needed a partner in crime on stage to make something beautiful, and that's what Veteran Investigator, of course, is.
Well,
and you'll have to see it, folks.
What's really interesting is that the deck is still a strong flavor win, because once you initiate the combo, you're playing Solitaire for a solid, 3 or 4 minutes while you mill your opponent out. So that is very much the Smooth Soloist sitting there, just snapping its fingers, playing its jazz. Yep.
Yeah.
While your opponent just sits there either.
Everyone's just like, "Hey, shut up! Stop scatting. This is a fucking
could have guessed
dude."
that the greatest foe of everyone in the entire game would be Jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it very much is just play your smooth jazz solo until your opponent either dies or concedes, as even in the real world, that is how jazz works. It's quite amazing.
Yeah.
That's the meta right now. Nothing super exciting and changing. Hopefully, we get some shake-ups soon, just so there's, but I wouldn't say this is stale. This is still a pretty wide meta with a lot of viable things to do.
The meta thick.
The meta is thick.
So Stan, I gotta ask, since you mentioned that Sejuani is kind of the driver of the meta, what would you be playing if you wanted to attack a Sejuani deck? What deck would you bring to take down Ash Sedge?
Yeah, what deck would you bring, Stan?
Let me look at this. Probably either Kinko Elusives or this Bilgeburn list is running some decent. Yeah, probably something like that or Bilgeburn. I feel like you want to just go way under them, because they're trying to use the fact that their creatures are real valuable to beat you down. How much actual? Trifarian Glory Seeker is they're probably their best answer to that plan. So if you dodge those Glory Seekers, oh wow, they're running a full 3 of Culling Strike. That's what?
Yeah, for
Culling Strike is really good.
Yeah.
I've been playing with it in random bad decks for a while now. Culling Strike is the best card in most decks I make that have Noxus in them.
Yeah, that's coming up. Yeah, so I guess you're still just trying to dodge some of their removal and just burn them down quick. Trying to think of what can go way over them, because I feel like the TF Ezreal combo in particular is a little awkward against a deck like that. It's you end up with a lot of pings that aren't actually getting rid of their creatures. So if you want to go the other way, something like Karma Ez is probably one of the better ways to take them out. Just because you actually hit your combo on a turn where you're not necessarily dead, and just the combo's a bit more consistent at killing them. I think TF...
I found that I want Will of Ionia more in Karma Ez, which sucks because Will got nerfed.
Yeah.
Which actually may be why this deck has come around. I mean, if this deck spends a lot on board buffs, really wants that large board presence, and Will was the cheapest reliable way to deny a 5 health minion from influencing the board.
Yep. It might even be War Mothers, honestly. That might be one of the better ways to take them out. You don't play a lot of creatures early. You're just kind of... Oh, yeah. There you go. You're fading memories. They're stuff for value. You're kind of, punching their whole board with things like Avalanche in the box, and just kind of surviving until War Mother's Call is pulling Commandro Ledrosses and Soul Gorgers and Tryndamirs that they can't really deal with as well. So I feel like Tryndamere is probably a pretty decent answer to the value that they're trying to run, because a Nivea Tryndamere Commandro Ledros is going to outvalue that deck as long as you survive till a turn you can play it.
So what I'm hearing is go way over or way under. Don't half-ass it, right?
Yeah,
You can't
this
you can't play any mid-range game against this. You have to be either way low or way high.
Yeah, I mean this seems like it is pretty much like the king of mid-range here, or I guess since it's Ash Sejuani, the queens of mid-range, however you want to put that.
The queens of mid-range have gone.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm just doing old songs now, guys. This is just boomer hour for me now. All right, I'm just doing old boomer songs as Runeterra stuff. That's my new thing.
All right. So conversely, that also means that we really don't want to be playing your Bannerman mid range or your Karma or Karma Heimer.
Right.
Heimer,
yeah. No.
Lux or any of those decks where you're really relying on kind of a mid range plan but not a committed mid range plan.
Yeah, because they can definitely outdraw you. The only deck that can outdraw the Frostbite thing, I feel like, is Ez, but it does have some issues with all the overwhelm. So.
Yep.
Oh, I mean,
that tends to be what
I've found that you can outdraw it fairly reliably in like Shadow Isles Freljord control. Just any number of control lists can outdraw it.
Bannerman.
But not with Bannerman, not with the other mid-range decks. But outdrawing is not the problem in a control list. The problem with a control list is that removal sucks in this game, and every 5 health minion requires 2 cards.
That's pretty fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for Riptide Rex, dude. He's a great equalizer.
Dude, Riptide Rex is a monster.
Riptide Rex is in fact, yeah. I mean that basically, if you're going to try and take this deck on with TFS, like you are banking everything into surviving till you can play a Riptide Rex and trying to swing the game back in the next 2 turns after you play Riptide Rex.
That's usually
the biggest slam move.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So I think that's a meta. Like I said, huge patch notes, 1.7, huge. I'm talking hundreds and hundreds of changes. The biggest one, of course, being that there is a new Yone emote. And hot or not, that's the question. The answer, he's hot. More from the patch notes we'll be getting to Adam. What do you have for us?
All right, the patch notes are pretty light. This is an off balance patch, so we have the typical structure of balance patch, non-balance patch, and since this is an odd number, this is an off balance patch. Though Riot messed with us and gave us some balance changes in the last off balance patch, so predictability is out the window, right? Consistency, right?
Zag.
We do have a new lab. It's called Quick Draw. It's you draw 5 cards a turn. Their costs are heavily reduced, but you only have 3 mana to play them. And you play shit out and get shit done. It's way more on the fun, not competitive side, right? I mean, there are some turn 1 wins involving Ledrosses and Dusk and Dawn and shit like that.
I get really competitive with my fun, though. Like, it's very similar to Death and Taxes. Like, if I'm having all of it, that means you're having none of it, so I win.
Turn 1 War Mother's Call is very hard to beat, though I did get there with just, spamming elusives against someone. That was nice.
That works.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a good diversion. It's a very different gameplay experience. If you're finding yourself a bit fatigued by ladder, go play this lab. It will be something different.
Yeah.
An additional update is that Singleton Gauntlet is now tri-region.
Tringleton, as we call it.
So this opens up a lot of new and interesting deck building opportunities, and if we had a Singleton Gauntlet this weekend, I would probably be running it through with a bunch of different new ideas. Unfortunately, we have a Standard Gauntlet this weekend, so instead, you can go play Standard.
Well, let's think about this tri-region gauntlet. Excuse me, Tringleton gauntlet. Let's really get into this because I'm looking at our notes for the episode, and they're what you might call light. So I think we just found ourselves a way to kill about 5-10 minutes maybe.
All right. I like the plan.
What are your top triple region setups?
So the principles were the same as before, right? You want to find those strategies which are most empowered by a lack of consistency, and those strategies which have the most redundancy to them with different card names. And I was talking earlier about how that's in removal, and with 3 regions worth of removal, you can really get there. So I'm probably going to start with a kind of Piltover's on plus Shadow Isles plus Freljord control list, and just use
Oops, all
like
kill spells.
the 5 or 6 high end finishers, and then oops all kill spells is correct.
Yeah.
And rely on the fact that everyone else's aggro decks are less consistent to get there.
Unsurprised.
So I'm thinking refined mill, because you can get probably Ionia, Shadow Isles, and then a little bit of PNZ. PNZ's really there to get you a few more removal spells and counterfeit copies, and then otherwise you're playing like an Ionia, Shadow Isles, Maokai deck, where the whole point is to, or maybe even, no, sorry, Bilge. Bilgewater's the other one I want, because you're doing like dedicated Maokai, you're trying to get all your toss, all of that, but counterfeit copies is going to make sure that your deck stays way over your opponent's deck, and then
You mean with your 1 counterfeit copies in the Singleton Gauntlet?
Wait, what? It's Singleton
This is
try?
Singleton.
Yeah,
Singleton try region, Stan.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why I said Tringleton. It's triple singleton. Yeah.
Oh.
Stan just woke up, gentle
Yeah.
listeners, so he's been doing most of this
it's
half
kind
asleep.
of it's kind of weird how Stan's always just sort of waking up, because he seems to make these goofs a lot, but that's besides the point.
Okay, then back to the original plan. It's still a mill deck. It's still 1 Maokai, but now you're running Ionia so you can get more draw spells, so it's all the draw spells from all of those things and counterfeit copies, and you still win with Maokai.
Are you sure you don't want like 3rd region Freljord so you can have an entreat to have a 2nd copy of Maokai?
I am positive I don't want to do that, even though it's a really good idea.
I think I would go for the strategy that would probably lose the most handily to Adams, which is just the old PNZ Noxus, Bilgewater, all-in, aggro deck. Do you have Whale? / do you have Avalanche?
Do you have Whale? Yes, I have Whale.
On the other hand, with only Whale and Avalanche, and like I might have to dip into like Chempunk Shredder,
Right.
the AoE removal gets pretty bad, and
Exactly.
it's possible that the 3rd region just gives you enough tools that you can look like a consistent deck, even if your cards aren't all really consistent.
Exactly. I'm seeing a ton of 1-drops here that absolutely get demolished by Withering Whale, but if that doesn't exist, I probably just win. Like, you have like a Teemo, you have Crackshot, you have Legion Saboteur, you have Precious Pet, Prowling Cutthroat. I mean, that's so many 1-drops. You can even play a Black Market Merchant if you want to get a little bit of card draw in there. I mean, there's just so much you can play.
But you get Whale and Avalanche, so you have 2, and then you get
And like Static Shock and Chempunk Shredder, but even so, that's 4 as opposed to my normal 6 or 6 and then some.
Yeah.
And then you have Ruination on 6 if you can save for it.
Well, y'all, we'll be playing these Tringletons against each other at a future date as well. That'll be coming just a week after our Mind Meld stream, which, by the way, is definitely coming now, because we saw Mega Mogwai playing our almost exact deck. So we now have to so we now have to do like we always do, which is set the trend, don't actually follow through with it, and then when somebody who's actually famous gets all the clout, we come in later and sort of scoop up the like remaining clout like a vulture.
This is how we harvest leftover clout.
Exactly.
It's a long-term strategy.
Exactly.
We're
the
playing
clout
the
harvesters.
long game.
I love Cloud City. Anyways, yeah, that's
Alright,
kind
we do
of
have
that's kind of what I would do with Tringleton, is just go for all of the 1 and 2 drops combined with maybe a crowd favorite at the top and a couple other things, and that'll do it. You know, I think that's a great little thing to do. What else in the
Yeah, I like the idea. So the deck, we got some deck builder updates. You can choose the type of rule set you want to build in deck builder. So since we now have a 3-region singleton, you couldn't actually build decks for that before, because, well, you can't put 3 regions of cards in a deck, so they fixed that, and by fixing that, they also just made it so they gave you a kind of rule filter, which I assume they'll populate with more rule sets as they come up with more gauntlets to play. Additionally, any unit can be dragged to assign it as deck box art.
Customization,
Dope.
personalization, Love it.
yeah.
Great.
So my Karina Vi Elise control deck can now just have a Karina on the cover like I always wanted.
Beautiful.
So, you think that's going to be like the next thing they add to the game? Is
Yes.
like you can buy deck box covers that aren't
I was thinking
units.
that was the next meta, and in fact, that is the next
Oh,
meta. But the
well,
other
yeah.
next meta, or the other axis they can make a new meta on in the Grandmaster tier is this. Riot, give us the ability to put our own custom PNGs and JPEGs into the game for our deck box art. All right, and let our opponents see them. I want to go back to 2006 CS Source, where I was always playing against people who would spray porn gifs after they killed the entire team. That's what I want to see. All right, come on. Let's bring back 2006, guys. All right.
Words I never thought I'd hear. Bring back 2006.
Yeah, dude.
Then again, honestly, I'll take 2006 and frankly 2001 over 2020.
You know what? I'll see your 2006 and I'll raise you 1999.
Ooh.
Dude,
I
1999
don't know what
was
we're
a
doing
wonderful place. Okay. I'll take 1999 over many years.
Great year.
Yep.
I was around. I existed. I was in first grade or kindergarten, depending on what time it was.
All right.
Yep. If it was early morning, kindergarten. Late night,
if it was
definitely.
late in the day, I'd already graduated to first grade. That's how smart I was.
Nice.
All right. I'm gonna avoid going further down this tangent because I'm gonna get way too political if I do. And instead,
Nice.
we'll move on. There are
We all
also in the patch
we all
notes,
thought
there's
Nader
some-
was going to win. All right, it's okay, Adam. You can say it. We thought Nader was going to win. Good
All right,
times.
so there's some other various wonderful customization options in the patch notes. There
Yeah.
are new boards, new guardians, new card backs. We
Yeah.
already mentioned the amazing Yone
That's a
emote.
ball and Timo one.
In case you ever really wanted to hit on your opponent, the new Yone emote is for you.
No kidding. Yeah. Yone, more like Yobe. I'm gonna go ahead and just copy that one again from pre-pod. So that
there
our
you
local
go.
listeners can-
No, the world needed to hear that, Dan. I'm totally with you. Additionally, the usual expedition tuning got kind of improved. Just tweaks to make it a bit more balanced, a bit better. And there were new epic quests added for the Spirit Blossom Festival, so keep grinding out those petals. You should be pretty close to done if you've been playing with any regularity. And if not, well, it's not too hard to start up now. You can grind out any number of petals a day, actually, if you want. And you can get petals. You can do the quests against AI, so the stun a million units quest, you just pop into an AI game and watch the AI fill its board while you Minotaur Reckoner it to death.
Oh no, guys! I'm seeing a huge, vast conspiracy unfolding before my eyes. Minimum specification for iOS changes for Legends
Oh
of
shit, there was
Runeterra.
an actual card change hidden in the bug fixes. And it's a
Yep.
and
A
it's-
very
no,
important
it's-
card change.
It's a
wait,
it's a
really?
real change to the power level of a completely non-played card. They quote fixed an issue unquote where Back Alley Barkeep could make copies of itself.
No, my current expedition was owning with that. Dang it! I should have finished that expedition up before this happened. Shit.
Oh, I did not actually realize there was a real change because I was still just going with, they added an icon trait at Zed's level 2. Or they adjusted it a little bit. Sorry, they adjusted it a little bit. It apparently wasn't where it was supposed to be this whole time.
This is an actual change. Back Alley Barkeep was not a super competitive card, but for people who loved memeing with just a bunch of random junk, it was great. And additionally, replaying it with shit like itself was a way you could really go pretty heavy on the
Yeah.
value there.
It
And
was a
now it
meme
can't
dream and
do
expedition.
that.
Yeah.
And so they say that this is a consistency update, that cards can't randomly create copies of themselves.
Yeah, I'm
But
seeing a
is
vast
there-
conspiracy unfolding.
Other than Inside of Ages, is there any other card that can even potentially create copies of itself?
Well, I guess as Twisted Fate can technically make a copy of himself if you have one on the battlefield.
No, but that's like a
pick
draw.
card
You
Yeah.
can draw a copy of Twisted Fate, but that's not the same.
you can
Like,
actually create. Yeah, that's fair.
yeah, when you create cards from outside the game, what cards have any create conditions that could even theoretically hit themselves? because I guess the lost breath, the last breath guy, the one drop from Shadow Isles that gives you a last breath minion in hand.
Yeah, he would be able to put
Yeah.
a copy of himself in hand. Yep, he falls in that range.
But like the Poro creates a Poro from another region, so it can't make itself. Like the vast majority of cards just could never hit themselves in the first place. I don't mind that kind of high roll.
Yeah, me too. Because I
Well-
need to finish my expedition and win, please.
At least this wasn't done when this card was like a meta card, right? Can you imagine if they had slipped a real substantive card change that affected power level into into the bug fixes for a meta card?
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely something we should go get up in arms about, though, so I can 7-0 my expedition.
I would appreciate if they, like, I don't mind changes like this, kind of holistically stepping back. You know, I get the reason they want this to be consistent. I get the way they want to tamp down on the randomness. But that said, that should not be put in bug fixes. Like, if this is a card change, it should be
Yeah,
up
that's
with
actually
card
kind of a big
changes. They should, you know, acknowledge that your meme deck is going to be worse now.
Yeah, this is the kind of BS that I just can't get behind. This might be it, guys. This might be the end of the pod. I'm sorry. This is it. We're done. We're out of
Well,
here.
you know what? I think that
This is a bridge too far.
One thing we haven't expressed properly is that this is at least flavor consistency, because if you think about where is Black Back Alley Barkeep getting these copies of things from? They're the patrons coming into his store and the stuff that they're leaving around. A copy of him can't walk into the bar. He's behind the bar. So obviously
Nah, man,
he could
was
never
so
make
good
himself.
that other barkeeps came to his bar.
But they're not the Back Alley Barkeeps. There's only the one Back Alley bar. That shit's copyright, Adam.
To me, it seems like
There's
you
very
kind
poor
of-
copyright protection in Zon stand.
Yeah, you kind of see the Back Alley Barkeep as a 90s adventure or point-and-click adventure game where they just sort of have this mishmash of like random items in their satchel, and they're trying to combine them all together and turn them into something to beat a puzzle.
Yeah.
Oh no, I
Yeah.
forgot to get the Cubics Rube in the first screen, and now I'm doomed.
I didn't know to combine the candle with the fucking bubblegum stick, and now I can't leave. I'm soft locked. Yeah, that's
Why is it that I
interesting.
can only fill this stupid rubber ducky with water from one sink in the entire game?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
If anyone got any of those references, you are a gentleman and a scholar and probably need to get a life as much as I do.
And you're probably, what's his name, Sid Meier, whoever that made all those, Will Wright, who made all
Well,
the
it's
like monkeys.
it's Will Wright. It's not Sid Meier. Sid Meier's Civilization.
Okay, yeah, you're probably
Which-
Will Wright. In which case, if you're listening to our
Yeah.
podcast, Spore was a terrible game, and you need to quit making games, sir. Anyways, moving on. We have Rampant Speculation. Last week, through a definitely technical error that was incited by Riot Games, we were rampantly speculating on the new champions that leaked and what they were going to be doing based off their look. And then Adam would fill us in on the flavor and what he thought they'd be doing. So we'll go ahead and be doing that now. And
I mean,
who should we start
guys,
with?
I think we have to have gotten at least one of them exactly right because Riot ruined
yeah.
our. Riot completely ruined our audio. Like, podcast is gone. That information's gone to the ether.
We were basically
we
were
could say it again, but
basically-
we're not going to take that risk.
No. Yeah,
we
exactly.
were-
Yeah.
we were basically doing their spoiler season early, and that's why they nuked it. So going
My
forward,
money's on
if-
Dan's Riven theory.
of math.
Dan's Riven was very good.
Oh, Dan's ribbon. Oh yeah. Also, my math neck was, I think, spot on.
Yeah, Math Neck.
Yeah, Tom Kench. There was a whole thing about Math Neck there. It's really unfortunate we lost that because that was brilliant. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into, I think, Zoe, because I don't think we touched on Zoe last time, so we can go ahead and do our own take. I think, so I'm going to do the card. I think Zoe, I see she's got a lot of hair. It's very colorful, cotton candy hair. I think she's going to have a challenger effect, and if she hits you with the challenger effect, you possess the card. You take the card over. So like if she survives the challenge, because she's like hitting you with cuteness, because she's just very cute and sweet.
So, and cuteness overwhelms small things?
Cuteness overwhelms anything as long as you don't kill the cute thing. So,
That makes sense. Yeah.
And that's kind of what I
Alright.
think happens. What about you, Stan? What do you got for us?
So, let's see. Yeah, I mean, definitely got that trickster vibe. She's got hair, which usually means that she at least whips people with her hair. So, like, maybe she has quick attack, quick strike, first strike, quick. You know, she's hitting with the hair, not her body, so you can't actually hurt her. Maybe, like, you know, barrier would be something that would make sense for her as well. She had a little hair barrier.
She's definitely a hair mage. Also
A
a
harrier, if you will.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
There you go.
But as for what she actually does, because she clearly needs, like, a unique ability, so either something along the lines of, like, since she's a trickster, like shuffling combat or shuffling card positions on the screen. So, like, enters. So, you know, I kind of like your stealing idea of, you know, like, pick 3 cards and they get randomly distributed amongst the players or something. Like that. That itself is too crazy. So, like, those numbers don't add up. But, you know, a more reasonable version of that.
I like
you know, or like swap one of your other. So, like, swap another unit with swap a follower with an opponent's follower. Very specifically, follower maybe is balanced. You
I was
know.
about to say, I will trade my spider for your Tryndamere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. Definitely just
No, actually, is
followers.
it really any worse if it's I will trade my spider for your Ledros?
No, right. But, you know, it's their fault for playing a Ledros. They fucked up. That's their mistake.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
You have a Zoe and a Spider. They can't play a Ledros.
You always blame the victim here on Run the Terra. That's what we
Yep.
do. Anyways, what actually is this person, huh?
All right, so we talked last week about the aspects of Targon, right? These kind of celestial beings that empower
Yes.
normal humans.
Absolutely.
And the celestial beings tend to, like, embody certain ideals. You know, you'd have an aspect of battle, or of valor, perhaps, or an aspect of protection. Zoe is empowered by the aspect of change, or alternately the aspect of twilight, or transitions. Really,
She's Baby New Year.
sort of, yeah. So in Targo, so that is partially why Zoe is a tween. She is kind of in the most transitioning period of her life, and in
She's
that
in between,
period
baby.
of her life, she kind of met and was bonded with the aspect of transitions, or the aspect of twilight, as it's sometimes called. And change is a very powerful force in the universe at large. So the aspect of Twilight is among the most powerful aspects, and Zoe is terrifyingly powerful. To give you some notion, we talked last week about Aurelian Sol, the Star Forger who literally creates and destroys galaxies as his job. Zoe captured him. She's the reason he's associated with Targon, and she treats him like a pet.
Okay.
He is none too happy about this.
Okay. That's very cute, though.
Yeah, she's
That's
terrifyingly
very
powerful. As for her mechanics, in game, Zoe is kind of a very long range mage. All of her damage is kind of wrapped up in one skill, so she basically will show up out of nowhere, completely delete you, and then vanish. And her most unique ability is her ultimate is an incredibly short cooldown portal, like a short range portal, but she always comes back to where she started. So it's, blink over a wall, do a thing, and then immediately go back. So I'm guessing her abilities in game will be built around that kind of nexus.
Okay.
So she'll have, so when she enters combat, right? She'll have an attack effect of some sort. I haven't figured out what it is yet exactly, but she will always recall from combat after blocks are declared, whether or not she's blocked.
Okay.
So she'll attack, trigger her attack effect, and then recall from combat.
Okay. I can see
Okay.
that.
I'm guessing
have
because
one
she's like a
question.
poke mage, she'll do, her attack trigger will be like dealing damage to the highest health enemy or something. It's like when she attacks, deal 1 damage to the highest health enemy, and then when you've done like 10 damage this way or 10 non-combat damage or something, she'll transform and she'll do a ton of damage or something. I don't know exactly.
Speaking of transform, Stan, I got a question for you. When Zoe transforms, what do you think? What song do you think plays? Is it Jimmy Eat World's The Middle, or is it Sum 41's In Too Deep? Zoe being a tween and all.
I see her as liking the middle. I don't see too much punk rock in all this.
I agree.
Yeah, definitely the middle.
Yeah,
and especially because that song
she's
is
a tween girl. Like, I mean, it's NSYNC.
Oh, so 30 Seconds to Mars to Kill.
That is the angstiest one.
By NSYNC or Backstreet Boys. I forget which one it is. I really did not know my boy bands.
I don't think that's quite right. No, it's. I think the middle is still, because the middle is even flavorful, because she's stuck in the middle. Like,
exactly.
It's stuck in the middle with you, and she's doing the little dance from Reservoir Dogs. That's what's really going on. As her pet Aurelian soul is sitting in a chair, just like, no, god damn it.
And she's just like putting like makeup on him or something.
Yep, that's exactly it.
Someone needs to make this.
So, fun fact, because Zoe's a tween, she obviously has a completely irrational crush, and her completely irrational crush is on Ezreal. So hilarity will ensue.
That's actually not surprising.
That is, in fact, an irrational crush, like 100% irrational. There's nothing attractive about Ezreal.
Honestly, the fact that Adam just said that makes me think that she should probably like NSYNC or something. Actually, I think Adam might be right. If she likes Ezreal, she probably does like NSYNC.
Yeah, that would pretty much be correct.
Because she likes Ezreal, and Ezreal has a well-known semi-canon crush on Lux, she hates Lux with a burning passion.
Huh.
I love this. I love this.
It is the most astoundingly ridiculous plotline in the entirety of League, and yet somehow it sounds great.
For you. Unfortunately, I can't touch any of this with my fanfic, so I'm going to leave that off to the side. But, yeah, that's something to keep in mind.
All right, let's move on. So last week we talked about Diana, let's talk about her mirror, Leona.
Her sister.
Stan, you want to start us off? What do you think Leona's card does?
Probably grants, like, on attack, she gets a new shield. Yes.
So, like, she's like a barrier unit?
Yeah, she seems like a barrier unit. Because, I mean, like, just look at that shield. Just look at that sword and armor and all this stuff that looks like a shield. Look at this actual, probably effective female armor. She has shields.
Well, and then still does have the tip plate, unfortunately.
Does she
have a fuck ton of other armor?
Exactly, she has a good amount of armor on. But that, and then, like, I see the sun kind of coming from behind her, so, like, there's sun power, so maybe when she flips, she does, like, Sun Blast, or, I don't know, some move that she screams with her.
She does Sun Kissed.
Sun-Kissed, I don't know. She definitely has some dramatic anime-ass line of attack that I could have probably looked up from the leaked audio files, but yeah, she when she levels up, she starts dropping sun nukes. That seems pretty correct. They damage people. She gets her barrier still. She's, I'm just getting, like, major Garen vibes from her. But just, like, but I'm guessing more with shields because she can't just be another Garen.
All right, I got it. Here it is. Boom. All right. When she attacks, she gives everybody a barrier, not just her own, not just your own units, the opponent's units. And
okay.
She's gone through 2 or 3 combats without any units taking any damage. She transforms. What does she transform into? Transforms into somebody that gives all of your units a barrier on ETB for that turn. That's it. That's what you do.
Okay.
So just way too many barriers.
Yeah, I mean, she's got a big shield. I don't think she has legs, and you can't tell me she does otherwise. She looks like she's just kind of floating it out there on the sun.
I was really gonna call that out, but like, I thought it was too obvious. But okay, darn it.
She ain't got no legs.
She ain't got no legs. She summons Lieutenant Dan when she
Yeah.
flips, for sure.
Gary Sinise just comes in and starts. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what is the actual what's the lore here?
All right. So Leona is part of a kind of religiously led tribe that lives on Mount Targon called the Solari, and they
That's
worship
cool.
a kind of a sun deity. And she is their kind of high priestess slash battle priestess. She leads them in battle. She leads them. She's not the only religious leader because it's a whole complex order, but she's like they're kind of a chosen one type thing. Maybe like they're Joan of Arc almost.
Mm.
And so in League of Legends, she is a kind of she's a tank, but she's a kind of get in your face, lead the charge tank.
I love that.
So she has an ability called Zenith Blade, which if it strikes an opponent, just sends her rocketing towards the opponent. And then she's got a ton of CC, and her ultimate does call down the power of the sun to stun everyone in a radius.
What? I'm so surprised.
So good call there, Stan. I'm guessing that kind of the nexus of her kit will be this kind of very tough brawlery unit who is meant to get into combat a lot. I think that it's likely that she will have tough. I think she may also have challenger, and I think that she may also have barrier. Like they might just double down on defensive mechanics on her. She's really defensive.
Just
Okay.
keyword soup the card.
Well, no, I mean that's just the front half. I think
Okay.
that I also think that she's going to be one of those champions because her ultimate is such a iconic single moment. I think that she's going to have her ability trigger when she flips only.
Yeah.
Kind of like Thresh's first attack or
That
Tryndamere.
makes sense. Yeah.
So when she flips, she will stun just the entire enemy board when she flips. No
and
questions
all the cards
asked.
in their hand
Yeah, stun the cards in their hand.
for that turn.
And then she's gonna flip. You're gonna get your full attack, and you're gonna end games with beefy Leona.
I love it.
Nice.
All
Good
right,
She
old.
does look beefy.
Yep.
The last champion we did not talk about last week is Soraka.
Looking
y'all want to take a
straight
crack
up
at that?
like just weird. Looking like anime. Was that me? Am I up?
Yeah, I guess it's you, Dan. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm having sort of a cognitive dissonance moment here because when I hear the name Soraka, the first thing I think of is like a Mortal Kombat character because it sounds like a Mortal Kombat character name. But then I'm greeted by this sort of just a mishmash of anime tropes of a unicorn girl who's also kind of an elf girl who's also like purple lady who's got big staff and she's just glowing, magical, and she's kind of nude. Also looks like her hair has a cape, not really her so much.
Oh yeah.
So when I see her, I think the powers of the moon. I think sort of not exactly the inverse of Leona because that's definitely Diana. But maybe Soraka was like part of Diana's crew, and then they had a falling out because one of them stole the other one's moon earrings. She's sort of like a fallen Sailor Moon. So I think she gives out dark energy. And when you play her, what happens is your opponent's speakers, they start saying like really mean things to them, like in whispers, almost like they have like sort of they're having like a schizophrenic episode, and they're just hearing like voices, and then it makes them play really poorly, and they lose the game because of that. That's what I think she does.
All right, inducing schizophrenic episodes in your opponents. That's a
Yeah, she's kind of like the
ambitious
Mean
call
Girls.
there, Dan.
Yeah.
Stan, you want to give this a shot?
So I'm seeing, like, I mean, I kind of see the anime, but I'm seeing more like she looks like one of those aliens from Avatar. So I'm seeing her
Avatari.
like yeah. So I think she's gonna do that little hair bonding thing with another character, and
yeah, absolutely. I can see that.
and I think that I don't remember if that like made hair babies or if that just made them like
That just made
nicer.
them
I don't
really
know.
close.
Yeah, Avatar was a movie I watched a long time ago once. But like
They
she looks like
called
those
the
things.
they called the metal unobtainium. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do
So
that, James.
Yeah, that was just. Oh.
so
James
she
spent $100 million on that movie and still called. Sorry, it's just he called it unobtainium. You can't. Anyways, continue.
so she definitely.
I mean, you could have at least called it Cameronium, right? Just acknowledge that you
Guys.
can't name it after someone, name it after yourself, and let that sit as the
Guys,
silly.
we're an Avatar podcast now. All we talk about Avatar. Anyways,
Yeah.
please keep going.
So yeah, she either does something with the hair Bondy thing, or she generates a sequel that's unwarranted way after the movie airs. So maybe like 10 turns after she flips, you get a second Soraka that nobody really understands the plot behind. She's just kind of there.
She's like on a third board, like off to the left.
Yes, she's not even really part of the game. You can't really interact with her, but she's there, and she's kind of doing the opposite of what Dan was saying, where she's tearing the opponent down. She's cheering you on and saying, "Come watch my movie and give me billions of more dollars because
What if it's like? What if it's like she cheers you on and she disses the opponent, and then we get both?
She could do both. I could see
Yeah.
both. Unlike James Cameron, can compromise and not name stupid things like unobtainium. I can listen to people and
Hell yeah.
yeah.
You can't do that, James. It's not allowed.
Can't.
All right.
Give us
So
the-
we've
yeah.
got some ambitious ideas here, and you know what? These ideas are so ambitious. I want to hear a bit more from you guys. Champions usually have associated cards that kind of work in a package. So like Lee Sin had the various spells that give you a second spell that trigger his ability a second time.
Absolutely.
What do you think Soraka's associated cards will be?
Ooh, that's a great question that I definitely should have already prepared for.
Yeah.
Um,
She definitely needs her wheelchair, new body infused avatar friend that like lets you get so okay, sorry. The hair twining thing will be a mechanic related to her. So you get a free hair tie with your sexy wheelchair friend. She'll also have Pocahontas. Will be one of her cards. Just basically, you play it and you get some plot structure that James Cameron can steal. And then one of her cards will be unobtainium.
I
And
believe you mean Fern Gully.
yeah, I guess Fern Gully more so than Pocahontas, but they're
I
all.
believe you mean Dances with Wolves.
Yeah, that is literally her entire package. Is all of those cards, and then one card called Unobtainium that just makes the opponent's board go crazy and fight itself until one of them gets the Unobtainium.
I believe you mean the Varavarata. I'm sure there's an ancient myth with the same structure.
Oh, there has to be, absolutely. But I mean,
yeah, go for it.
but they do all start from white people suck. That's the general that's really the moral of all of those stories. So
She does have a lot of crystals on. I am getting some big. Yeah, I'm getting some big sort of like lib fem energy right now. But yeah, I think what it actually is that so similar to how in Avatar you like go into the world and you're like in an avatar, like you go from like wheelchair man to being an avatar, and then you come out. It's sort of like a Matrix analogy. So I think with her when she when you play her card, you sort of you get to like grasp reality for just a second, and you go to like a different board. And it lets you like sort of change superstructures of the game rules so that you can make things work differently without telling your opponent. So it's kind of like cheating, but it's in the game.
So what you're saying is that you play Soraka and then you get to play by Hearthstone rules for a turn,
Sure, if you want to, yeah.
and that's her associated spell. It's just play by Hearthstone rules for a turn.
Yeah, I mean, shit. You could even like make it so that everybody that's playing Hearthstone has to play by Legends of Runeterra rules, and all of a sudden, people in Hearthstone are complaining that like they're able to like interact, and they're just like, "What the fuck? What is this?" Ugh, gross.
I think you should go a step farther than that. Hearthstone has to play by Yu-Gi-Oh rules. Yu-Gi-Oh has to play by Magic rules. Magic has to play by Runeterra rules, and Runeterra gets to play by Duel Master rules.
Yeah, everyone's just.
And no one is playing Duel Master, so we're done.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think,
No, that's
I think Soraka is the sort of the key to the is the skeleton key card that lets you unlock all the game rules for all the other games. You know.
Yep.
We're playing Hearthstone by Olympic. Sorry, we are playing Legends of Runeterra by playing Hearthstone by playing Olympic diving rules.
Exactly.
Yep.
I love it.
6 from the East German judge. Damn it.
Every
I
time.
love it. So yeah, what do you think, Adam? Give us some ideas.
So Soraka is somewhat unique in Targon in that she is actually one of the kind of Targonian celestial aspects herself, rather than being a kind of bonded aspect with a human host. And she's also pretty ancient. You know, she descended to the races of man early in an attempt to help them, live their life happily. She is a healer aspect of sorts. And in game, she is just like all the heals all the time. She has a basic heal that is very powerful. She has a ultimate which heals the entire team. Everything is about healing. So I'm guessing that her ability will be to grant her supported ally regenerate.
Whoa.
For a turn.
Okay.
Oh,
I can see that.
So when you attack with her supported ally will, if they survive combat, heal the full.
I see that. I like that. That's pretty
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
And then when she flips, she will heal your entire team to full when she flips, and then her ability will permanently grant regenerate only on her level 2 side. And the way you will flip her is by healing enough damage.
Yep. I like it.
Ooh,
Healing
like
deck.
And I'm seeing like Soraka Braum as like the new deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
that's the new
Fuck yo
hotness.
aggro.
muy
We have
goodo.
heals for
But
days.
yeah.
That's that new hotness. That sounds pretty fun. I would play that deck once, lose, and then be like, all right, something else.
But she's gonna have like terrible attack. Like she's gonna have like a 1 attack, if that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she doesn't seem like. I don't think you can go into combat with those fur boots and have more than like 1 attack. Honestly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She's
The
very
boots.
2007.
Yep. Yep.
She's basically wearing Uggs.
Yeah. She does. Well, she's not wearing apple bottom jeans, but she does have the boots with the fur.
She does in fact have the boots with the fur.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole club was looking at her
Yep.
because we're trying to figure out what she does.
Yep.
I do want to like build a deck that just buffs Soraka to kill everything to make your opponent feel miserable that they're getting killed by like the lamest support ever.
That would be cool.
Mostly as a throwback to the ages of the Banana Assassin.
What's the Banana Assassin? Let's get some.
So you see that weapon of hers? How it looks kind of like a banana. Well, when she attacks in League, she throws out a banana-looking energy particle.
Huh.
And for many a month when I was playing with my friends, I would just randomly. She has like surprisingly high attack range and damage. It's not like it's not like competitive. You never build her for the attack range, but there were scenarios where you would just like randomly kill an opponent with your slow, not terrible auto attack.
Right.
And so for many a moon, I was getting way too many kills with auto attacks with Soraka, and I became known as the Banana Assassin. And so day 1 with Soraka, I am trying to build that terrible deck.
Known worldwide as the Banana Assassin. I didn't know we had such a prestigious kill for hire amidst our podcast ranks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that covers all of these. Like I said, when we do finally start getting spoilers, we will. If there are any of the ones not claimed here, we will of course claim that we got them right. And if they are the ones we just listed, we will still claim we got them 100% right because everything was
Shit,
just
I just
joke.
realized, Dan, we did not explain in this version of the podcast what these spoilers are and like where they're from.
That's fine.
Oh,
so
yeah.
these were the spoilers that were granted to us via Reddit, via a wonderful person named where's your name? U/Marceloxef, Marcel OXV, Marcello XV, whatever you prefer.
And these were data mined by finding sound files within the game for champion interactions between these guys.
Got a bunch of hackers on our hands, huh? That's pretty crazy. Yeah, that's
so
cool.
yes, there's a list of champions who are spoiled. We know who they are mostly. Yeah. So that's what lets us know which league champions are coming to Legends.
Yeah, we're kind of a bit of a elite hacker group. We used to be anonymous, but we kind of got out of the political game after a while and realized let's just hack into card games and data mine them. How about that? And that's kind of where we are now. But I mean, I think that's probably going to do it for us. I don't see anything else on our docket, except to again question why James had to do Unobtainium. I mean, you know. Even just something like Uranium 2, like, come on, James, or like Gold 3, the new gold, like that's cool. Anyways.
I mean, just fuck this shittium. If you're gonna do something dumb, at least do it something that acknowledges how dumb it is. The problem with Unobtainium is it doesn't know how dumb it is.
Yeah.
No, that's very true.
Because it's
very, very true.
They literally have it. It's not. They literally have it. Yeah, even just something like Big Cash Paymium. I don't know. Like anything. Anyways, for Runeterra,
movie ticket salesium.
What's that?
Movie ticket salesium.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
$1 billion franchisium. For Runeterra, I've been Grandmaster Dan.
I've been Adam Munoz.
And I've been Unobtainium.
Oh no, we lost him. And we'll see those people next time, and we'll see you then when Avatar 2 comes out.